You're listening to Inside the Techosystem, a podcast bringing you fun and insightful topics about tech and its ecosystem in Nigeria. My name is Emmanuel, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chuka. Chuka,
Hey
how are you
guys,
doing?
what's up? I'm okay. You know me, just kicking it.
I've heard that so many times that I don't even know if it's true anymore.
That's my default. That's my default response to how are you doing? I'm okay. I'm okay. Even if I'm not okay, I'm okay.
Suffering and smiling.
Yeah, it's the default Nigerian setup. But like we make it work. What's up now? How have you been? How's the new city?
It is good. So for those that don't know, I recently moved to Amsterdam. Actually, I moved yesterday night.
Yeah,
I traveled
that's
yesterday,
crazy.
so I'm currently in Amsterdam, and so far so good. It's nice. I mean, it's just one day, and I've been indoors mostly, so nothing much yet. Hopefully, I get to explore
What city
the
has
rest of the week.
more? What city has more bicycles, Copenhagen or Amsterdam?
To be honest, I think I actually don't know. People in Amsterdam say there are more bicycles than humans. But in Denmark, they say more than 40% of the population bike. So I don't know which facts can determine which city is more biking. But I think they're comparable.
I feel like Emmanuel has recorded more episodes in different cities than I have, and this is my cue to start traveling more. So, whenever
Lucky.
I'm currently in Ibadan right now, and it's great. All right.
Yeah, maybe that should be a thing. One episode for every state in Nigeria, something like that.
I was like, okay.
But the thing is
Someone has to sponsor us,
unless you're going to record like outdoors, and then you hear like the different sounds of different states. For example, in Lagos, you hear horns. In I don't know another state, maybe you hear
in
something
Abuja,
else.
you hear cows.
I didn't want to say that.
I didn't say that. Please, nobody should come for me, please.
Okay, cool. All right, so today's episode is going to be really great because, again, we have brought a very special guest.
A superstar.
A superstar, actually. A superstar. Someone who's always making money.
Yeah.
So,
per week, by the hour, by the minute, by the second. Yeah.
So today's guest, yes. So today's guest is Odun Osineye. I'm Yoruba, but I've never heard that surname before. So maybe you can also talk about that. Odun is an entrepreneur, a co-founder of Hiyalo, and I'll let him introduce himself because, of course, he knows himself more than us. So Odun, you have the floor.
Yeah, hi Emmanuel, hi Chica. Hi everyone. My name is Odun, not Odun. My name is Odun,
as in
right?
As in it is sweet, right?
Yeah, as in it is sweet. Yeah. So there's like the full name is Odun Molorun. It pleases God.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Odun Molorun or Osineye. It pleases God. But then short version is like Odun, right? Everybody calls me Odun, sweet, right? Some people
do you get called Odun a lot? Like be honest.
Yeah, I do, and then I'm used to it already. I usually don't try to correct people or anything. Yeah.
No, me, I'm very big on pronouncing people's names right, so my apologies.
Yeah, so it's Odun.
Odun, I got you.
Yeah.
Odun.
It's right. Odun, no Odun.
If I ever hear you call me Odun, since I'm big on calling people's name right,
I'll call you correctly from now on. Don't worry, it's cool.
Okay, cool. All right. So my name is Odun. I currently work as the CEO at Hiyalo Technologies, a prop tech company that provides rent finance, property search, and we're currently building a community management app for property managers and landlords. So I think that's me, briefly.
That's to be honest, this is the shortest intro we've ever had.
I mean, like, I don't know. True. Yeah, I think that's pretty much that's pretty much me.
That's you right now.
When you ask questions, that's me right now. Yeah,
okay,
right
okay.
now. Yeah.
So we're going to ask you about your story. So, how did you become Odun of today? What led to Odun of today being the CEO and founder of Hiyalo? And how did you get into
Okay.
tech? What's your journey?
All right. So I'm going to just talk about like my story in chunks. Um, I was born into a family of, I mean, three. Yeah. I have
Don't let
two
them
other
hear.
siblings. Yeah. I have two other siblings. Of course, my dad and my mom. I was born in Ijebu, right? So I used to like joke around once they would say, "Oh, I'm a village boy. All these village boys, I don't even know what they are doing
Mm,
or something like that." But but anyway, yeah, I was born in the Ijebu and I think I went to primary school there. Secondary school, went to Mayflower School, Ikene, quite popular. Then I went to I did diploma in law at the University of Abuja. I was there for like
mm,
3, 4 years. Diploma was like maybe 2 years, but I was in Abuja because I was trying to get admission. I'm one of those people
yeah.
jammed me a little bit for some years. But yeah, then but that never worked out. I was trying to get admission into University of Abuja. I was staying with my uncle in Abuja at the time. And I think that my entrepreneurship journey pretty much started just about the time when I was leaving secondary school because the story is in relation to like my entrepreneurship journey, right? So I'm going to talk about it in chunks based on my entrepreneurship experience. So my first real job happened immediately after secondary school. I was done with school and I just hated the idea of just being at home and not doing anything. And yeah, so I decided to go out and get a job. So I got my first job in a bakery, a local bakery in Jabu Fair. Within 2 weeks of working in that bakery, I became the manager of the place. I think I was like 16 or something. I was like the youngest person in that
Superstar.
place. you know.
Yo.
But I really, I honestly, when I think about it now, I think that the reason why that happened was because maybe I was like the most educated person in that bakery.
Okay. Okay.
And that kind of added some value, in terms of like maybe how I handled things or how I managed money or, how I recorded
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Like
was
you,
I was
you
the
had
manager
more
like two
structure
weeks.
than the rest that were working there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes
Yes, I think
sense.
that
That
was
makes
it. So
sense.
then also I was also selling more. So like customers like really liked me. And we used to sell, and we used to go to like very remote villages, like like thatched roof villages where there are no roads, there are no lights. I remember we used to drive to those kind of very very old villages, and the customers just really used to like me, and I really used to just like them too because I was always wondering how do people survive in these places? There's no water.
Mm.
They go to this stream to go and you fetch water. I remember some of the names. We had names like Bamu Bamu, the names of like the villages. There's all like Bamu Bamu. I think that's the only one I can remember now. But yeah, that was my experience. Like then I did that for about maybe 6 to 8 months before traveling to Abuja, where I went to do diploma in law.
Mm.
While I was in Abuja, I started working with my uncle as his personal assistant. Yeah, as his PA. He ran a property company, so he was helping people
Mm.
buy properties and sell properties, and he did it, on a fairly large scale.
Okay.
And I was working with him. I guess maybe that's like my very first experience of. So maybe that's connected to why I'm currently in real estate today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my very first experience of like real estate. I used to be very excited about going for those inspections and closing those deals. And I think one of the things I liked about it was the fact that all he really did was connect the owner of the land to the buyer of the land, and he was going to make a lot of money. Like there were times when he was going to make like millions of naira just by connecting the owner of the land to the buyer of the land. That was always very exciting. Uh, But yeah, I was in Abuja for about 4 years. Then while I was there, he started a block industry. I was part of the business from scratch. And again, I also think that that's something that has been very consistent in my journey. Is my ability is that I've just always been part of like the very beginnings, the rough, you know, early stages. So I think I was there, helped build that block industry for like a year plus. I was literally running the business from scratch, and it was quite successful. Then I left Abuja, came to Lagos, got into Unilag, studied law. Now, then I started another series of basically trying to survive, right? My entrepreneurship journey is very similar to that of Hanu, of Patricia. It was basically a lot of just survival and hustling. Back in uni, I had a tutorial center. I had a tricycle, the University of Lagos.
Were you the one riding it?
I sold yams. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
All right.
I wasn't riding it. I raised money. I actually raised money from investors, bought the tricycle, gave it out on hire purchase, and I was getting returns like weekly. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you make profit off of it? Because a lot of people swear that business doesn't work.
So that's a very good question. In my own case, I think the tricycle got stolen. Maybe like
oh my god!
Oh so it was a tricycle got stolen. Until date, I believe that the guy that was riding the tricycle was responsible for this scheme. I mean, the matter was reported to the police station. They tried to return some part.
We all know how that goes.
Yeah, it didn't go well. But the interesting thing is, about that time when that tricycle got missing, I was supposed to travel to the US to represent the University of Lagos in a competition, international competition. So,
wow.
The moment I left the country, that was the end of my interaction with the police, and I just left the money. So I did that. I also sold yams, right? So I used to bring in yams from Mina. And then I would sell them to the eateries on campus. So I did that also for a while. And then finally, I started a recycling company. So that was like the first real company in terms of like having structures, systems, building partnerships and things like that. Every other thing was just like selling, right? So you buy it, you sell it to the guys here. Maybe tutorial was more of a service. Obviously, that was a service, right? So I'll teach students and get paid for it. But basically, that was my journey through the university. Then I went to law school. I left law school 3 months in because I was like just feeling very, very, very dissatisfied.
You were like, I'm not selling anything here. I'm done.
Oh my God. I really don't think so, honestly. So when I think about by the way, I think this is the first time I'm saying this publicly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please do. Please go ahead.
So and the reason why, so it's not like there's a reason why I haven't said it publicly. There just has not necessarily been a reason for me to, right? Yeah. So it's not like I'm trying to hide it or anything. But I left law school 3 months in, and I was just very, very dissatisfied. I was in class. I remember I wanted to have a first class. I've always been a good student, so I would, go to class, be like one of the first people to get there. I remember I would like go to the library every day, and I had this picture of my friend. His name is Rahman Apala. He left law school the previous year with the first class. So I got a picture of him, printed it out. It was in my wardrobe. I'm looking at it every day. Like, I'm getting my first class. But like at some point, I just couldn't help it anymore. I felt like I was going crazy. I struggled very hard to like stay because I wanted to finish. But every opportunity I had to get out of campus, I just felt this peace and this ease. So it's like staying here was just very uncomfortable. So one Saturday morning, I just packed my things and left.
Wow.
I would say that's maybe one of the craziest decisions I've made in my life. Because at that time, I didn't even know what I was going to do. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a business. Like, there was nothing. But I left
How did your parents take it?
I knew it was very hard on them. Maybe I'll share a little bit of that.
Oh no, would love to know actually.
Like, this guy's crazy. But yeah, it was hard on them. I'll talk about that. But yeah, I packed my things and left one Saturday morning. Because, and I think the lesson there for me, because I'm going to do it again if I have to go back in time, I'm going to do it again. And the reason is because, like, I was clear. I wasn't clear about what I wanted, but I was clear about what I didn't want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I was clear about what I didn't want. So I just thought I needed to leave. And so I did. Yeah, I got back to Lagos, and then I started to now figure out, like, what am I going to do next? It was very tough. My parents were sad. My parents were sad. They thought I was crazy. People advised them to, go and pray for me, or like I need to do deliverance, stuff like that.
You need to wash your head.
I knew exactly, something like that. I knew exactly what I was doing. I was sure that I'm not supposed to be there, but I wasn't sure of where I was supposed to be. So I stayed at home. I was reading books. That period, I was just reading books and praying, and then trying to just like figure out what next. So then I started asking. I remember I decided to pick up one of the businesses I did on campus and just say, hey, this is like something that I know how to do. What if I do it on a large scale? And that was, I used to print on t-shirts. So I used to do like branding. I used to do that for like virtually all the associations and departments on campus at the time. So I decided to pick that up and then like just make it big. And so what I did was I did some research about that business, set up an Instagram page. I started, posting on that Instagram page. I hired a designer. I think I hired somebody else, like a delivery guy. I had no money, mind you. In fact, I was in debt. So I was just selling I was in debt. In fact, I was just selling like vision to these guys. I was like, don't worry, we're going to do this. We're going to achieve this and stuff like that. And they just joined me. And then we started that business. It's called Dazzle Cycle. I think the Instagram page still exists. Dazzle Cycle.
That's such a nice name.
No, not Dazzle. It was just Dazzle. Yeah, it was just Dazzle. Dazzle Cycle was a recycling company I started in Unilag. Yeah, and I think I should quickly.
So you moved from Dazzle to Dazzle Cycle.
Yeah. No.
So you just
Dazzle Cycle. No, Dazzle Cycle is the name of the recycling company. I started a recycling company when I was in, I think, year 3 or year 4 in Unilag.
Okay.
Right.
So what about the branding company? What was that called?
Yeah, that was just called Dazzle.
Dazzle, okay. All right.
The branding was just Dazzle. Yeah, Dazzle was just Dazzle. Right. So it was supposed to be like, a group of companies that, I was going to, those are my thoughts at the time.
That's brilliant, actually,
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I remember, so for Dazzle Cycle, I started a business. I remember raising some money, setting up like a physical space where we used to collect recyclables. I also got attention from Channels TV. I remember we had like an interview with Channels TV. So I was on TV. I became a little bit popular on campus at the time, until the vice chancellor called me and shut down the business.
Wow.
A few weeks after shutting down the business, they started working on setting up a recycling plant in Unilag. Reached out to me and asked me to help. Actually, they asked me to come and work with them to set up.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Unilag.
Damn.
So let me get it straight.
There's a recycling.
Yes. I think Unilag is the only school that I've been to that they actually have, recycle
recycling
bottles
buckets
here.
and all that.
Yes, they actually label
Yeah.
everything, right? And the first time I saw
Yours
that, I was like,
truly.
oh wow, this is oh wow. So we have the
Yours
pioneer of
truly.
recycling on the podcast. Wow,
Amazing,
wow,
amazing.
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
But let me get this straight. Were
Yeah.
you like
Yeah.
threatened or something like by the vice chancellor when he told you, you know? Because I don't
No,
understand how can
no.
he shut down the business that wasn't running under Unilag, itself. Like it was your
Yeah.
own, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it was mine. It was my business 100%. The issue was I granted channels to get an interview, right? The interview
Oh.
aired. People saw the interview on Channels TV. And the challenge the VC had was I was using the school property to run a personal business, right? And the property in question here is the botanical garden. So Unilag has a botanical garden, and I approached the manager of the botanical garden and said, "Hey, I'm working on a project. I'd like to have a space." And they're, okay, what project are you working on? I explained to them recycling and da da da. So they gave me a space. I had raised money, so I got a carpenter, built out like a recycling hub, right? And in that hub, we're able to create sections of our product. So we had PET bottles, we had cans, and then we had pure water sachet. Those were the three items that we were collecting at the time. So we would, we had that hub, and that hub was where we kept all our products. And so I also closed partnership deals with other recycling companies. They would come in to pick the product and then pay us. It was a very simple model. But my vision for that business was I would take it to the point where we would start to produce with those recyclables. That was the vision at the time. But anyway,
Sorry, if you don't mind me asking, how old were you at this point?
Yeah.
How old were you at this point?
I was 20, I don't know, 4, something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 24, 25-ish.
Okay. Yeah. So when did
so
you
I got
set?
into,
So
yeah.
So I think what I'm thinking is, if you had to shut it down in Unilag, you could have taken it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Did you do that, or you just let it go? Dazzle cycle. I'm sorry, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. So that was exactly what I did, right? Because again, taking it out of Unilag would mean that I have to attend to that business, and that would really affect school.
Yeah. Yes,
right.
that would
remember, I'm a law student, right? So at that time, I didn't have the courage to leave school. I do this dazzle cycle. What's that? I really wanted my degree at that time, right? And then honestly, at the time, I wasn't necessarily I was just having fun. It was starting these businesses was just a lot of fun to me, and I was definitely interested in making money because I also needed to survive. Right? I was responsible for myself.
But the primary thing for you was it was
it was
something
this was
fun.
Something in my mind. Yeah, it was something that I saw. Dazzle Cycle started because I was walking by the Senate building one day and I saw the drainage filled with plastic bottles. And then when it rains, the drainage will be full and then there's going to be, a lot of water everywhere. So the idea is, how do we clean up the drainage? That was really the idea for Dazzle Cycle, right? It was about cleaning the drainage, honestly. Then, did research and realized that, we could make money out of this. And that was how it became a business.
That's smart, man. That's smart, for real.
So, thank you. So, that's the Dazzle Cycle story. So now fast forward to, I'm back from law school. I pick up my t-shirt design business. I set up a team, and then I start to look for jobs. I'm trying to talk to companies to have me, brand their t-shirts and stuff like that. Then I also remember contacting companies in China to get the latest equipment and start doing this on a large scale. But in the process of doing that, I also went back to go and learn how the local guys actually do that printing, right? I remember doing that also for a couple of weeks. But in the middle of all of that, and I'm very confused. I'm trying to survive, figure my way out. I'm just back from school. I'm asking myself questions like, did I make the wrong decision?
Yeah.
Like, is this how my life is going to end and stuff? Then I remember my sister reached out to me and says, why not just go for NYC?
Okay.
Right? I'm like, oh.
What an advice.
No, but it's true now.
Yeah,
like,
my sister was
he's
like,
out of school already. Like, if you're not in law
yeah.
school, you might as well be doing service.
True.
You know?
True.
And my sister was like, why not just go for NYC? Like, okay, that's not a bad idea. I remember she told me on the day that NYC was closing, and somehow I got it done that day, and went for NYC, 3 weeks in Port Harcourt, came back to Lagos. Now I spent those 3 weeks basically thinking, praying, and just trying to figure out, like, where is the future? That was the question I was asking myself. The question I started asking myself was, what would I do today that is going to keep me relevant in the next 30 to 50 years? Right? Because I've always been a long-term guy. I've always thought, long-term. I'm very big on, like, delayed gratification and all that. So I was asking those questions intently. By the time the orientation time was over, I was sure that I needed to be back in Lagos. So I just relocated, came back to Lagos, and then continued my search. I was looking online. I remember trying out exports trading and saying, okay, Nigeria is, I could earn foreign exchange. I remember doing that, reaching out to people online and saying, hey, I want to learn how to export products and stuff like that. But all that didn't work out. I remember a particular guy that I found on YouTube who went to his office and told him that, hey, I just left. Yeah, I remember telling this guy that, hey, I just left law school. I'm like the smartest guy that is going to be in your business. I have built this business. I've done this. I've done that. Just give me a chance. Let me just work with you and learn how this business works. And the guy is like, I need to have a laptop. No. He says I need to pay, I think 120,000 naira or something.
Yeah. I have a course, and I'm going to sell you a course so that you.
Yeah. And then the thing is, this guy has the business. He actually runs the business. He actually exports maybe like dry fish, all kinds of things. Yeah,
Okay.
And then he wanted me to pay for that course. You are correct. He wanted me to pay for that course, and I didn't have a course. I didn't have any money. I remember then. I remember taking my laptop, and I wanted to, like, sell my laptop at the time to get that course so that I can just get access to that knowledge. But it didn't make sense because I'm going to end up watching the course. I'm going to use my laptop for the work I'm going to do. So oh my God, like, thinking about those days now is I don't know, is really interesting. But yeah, but that didn't work out. The guy didn't allow me. And so I went back to the drawing board and started thinking, where's the future? And then online, I just started seeing that, technology. That was my first experience with technology business or tech or anything. I started seeing that, technology is actually a thing. People are doing technology, young people are building companies. And so I just decided there that I was going to get a job in a tech company to first of all learn what technology is and how it works. Now this is me trying to get a place to sell. And long story short, I used to go to NG Hub at the time because my brother Daniel Osineye, who is CTO at Golf Credit, used to go to NG Hub, so I would go with him. Then he went to school abroad, and then I didn't have the access anymore, to the internet and NG Hub. But one of those days, I reached out to someone there. One thing led to another, and I was at NG Hub on the day when a number of startups were doing like an orientation. They were inducting them into Facebook startup program, accelerator program.
Okay.
And so I was there, and I told the guy that was coordinating the program that, hey, this is who I am. I'd like to get a job, here if it's possible. And so the guy said, oh, don't worry, I'll introduce these startups. So he did that. He actually just said, hey, this is our guy. in case you start. These are like brand new startups. They are just gotten maybe about $20,000 grants from Facebook.
Wow.
And
right
they were
place at
getting
the right time.
God bless you. That was exactly
right
what it was.
Right place at the right time, man.
These are like 15 startups. Some of those companies were Check It Technologies, Bradley, was it Broker, a couple of companies like that. Curacell, I know Curacell recently raised about $3 million. I met them there. They were just starting at that time. It was so beautiful because this is exactly who I wanted to be. I wanted to build a global company, and this is me in the midst of like founders that are building technology companies. And so immediately after that meeting, I got the email of all of the CEOs. I emailed all of them, just give me a job. I wrote this email where I'm telling them how great I am. And I told them specifically, I'm going to be the best decision you will ever make in your business. When I got my job, the CEO of Greatly, who is still my friend today, Boy, said that was the line that made him say, I need to talk to this guy. Why is he so confident, And, I think I spoke to about 3 of those founders, and all 3 of them offered me a job. In fact, one of them was going to offer me a partnership, something like a co-founder role. I didn't know it at the time.
Okay.
I didn't know it at the time because I'm just coming into tech for the first time. I don't know anything. Did you get? But I think they were just
Yeah. So what company did you eventually get to work with?
Greatly Technologies.
Okay. I think this is EdTech.
Yeah, EdTech. Yeah.
Okay. So you said 3 people offered you a job. So why did you choose Greatly?
Greatly. First off, I thought that the technology was very interesting. I thought what they were building was very interesting to me. At the time, Greatly, which is still what they're doing today, Greatly is digitizing homework for schools.
Okay.
And beyond digitizing homework, they're actually trying to identify learning gaps. So Greatly believes that every child is smart, right? If allowed to learn at their own pace. So we're building a technology that could help the teacher identify where the child is struggling and where the child's strengths are. So basically, the technology will tell the teacher, this is this person's strength and this is this person's weakness. This person is good in this topic. This person is not good in this topic. And that data now helps the teacher to, focus on the areas where the child needs help or the student needs help. That was basically what technology was. And it was very interesting to me. I'd never seen anything like that before. That's 1. 2, Greatly actually paid the highest. Greatly also paid the highest. Greatly also paid the highest. But I remember my chat with Check It Technologies, the CEO. I think that was the first. And he said they wanted to hire me as social media manager. I didn't know anything about social media. I'm not a social media. Today, I don't even have Instagram on my phone. I don't have Twitter. I use it on the web.
He's just like me, man. He's just like me. Although I'm changing that pretty soon because, I'm trying to be more involved. So it's
like, they wanted my mindset was like, just give me a job. So when they said social media manager, I'm like, done. And the guy's like, oh, we're a startup. We don't really have a lot of money. We're going to pay you $20,000. I'm like, wait, I don't care about the money. I don't care if you pay me or not. I just want to work with a startup. I remember telling you that, but eventually I went to Greatly and Greatly paid me way.
So what was your role at Greatly?
The role that I had when I got in was called business analyst.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's a
in reality, so basically it was a growth role. It was just a role. When they said business analyst, it was a role where I was supposed to interact with customers and then provide feedback to the product team to help the product people, build a better product, basically. So I was like an intermediary between the early users and the company. That was basically. So it was sales. It was literally sales. It was marketing. It was customer experience. It was
Oh,
basically
okay.
everything in growth, honestly. Yeah. So that was my first, job, and I was in Greeley for about 2 years, 2+ years. At Greeley, I was product lead. At Greeley, I was growth manager. At Greeley, I was sales manager within all of that period. At Greatly,
Wow.
I think I managed a team of about 200 people. Um,
Odun had so
I
Sorry,
so much
it's a
energy,
team
man.
of 200. There were that many people in
yeah.
Greeley.
So yes, but let me explain. Right. So we had apart from like the team of employees, we had content creators that were building text content for the company. Right? And we're building like thousands and thousands of content. So we had up to 200 teachers. So we had like teachers that were building content, and then we had to manage them. And managing them means I hired them. I developed the quality and control framework for the content that they are bringing in. I
Yeah.
created or sort of like built a structure around like the curriculum. So we had like Nigerian curriculum, British curriculum, American curriculum. So I would like vet the teachers and help them, manage all of that. Um, then I also had a team of reviewers, right? So when teachers create the content, the content will go to the reviewers. The reviewers review it and then finally come to me and then I'll approve
So
before we
the
now send them.
reviewers.
Yeah.
So the reviewers are full employees, right? Full-time employees.
Yes. The reviewers are full-time employees. Yeah. So we had
Okay.
reviewers and then we had uploaders. Uploaders were the ones that would upload the content on the system. So I managed that entire team. I was also responsible for setting up like an entire brand new like business channel for the company, which is tutorials, right? Because at the time we're just building this software that schools can set homework for their students. They can use the homework data to determine areas of strengths and weaknesses and stuff. But it wasn't really making money. Schools were not like really interested in paying for that, right? And so we needed to make money. So we came up with this idea to start doing tutorials, and that was my responsibility, right? So I started that whole thing from scratch, which I know today is still probably still the biggest money maker for the company today.
Wow.
Something I'm always very proud of.
So basically, you're a money making machine everywhere you go. That's nice.
Yeah,
So
I help companies make money.
while while you were working at Credly as all these roles, do you feel like
Yeah,
they prepared you for your entrepreneurship journey, like the one afterwards?
100%. 100%. At Grady, I learned about fundraising. I learned, about fundraising. I got involved in the process of raising funds for the company. Um, I learned about the importance of data. Prior to Gradely, what I had been doing was just selling stuff and making money, right? But at Gradely, I started learning that data is important, collecting data from users, collecting feedback from users, and then using that data to make better product decisions, right? So I started learning like more complex, the complexities of running, an actual company. So yeah, it did prepare me for everything else that I did after. So yeah, fast forward, I left Greatly. And by the way, like I remember trying to leave Greatly. It was a struggle because, like, they weren't going to let me go. That felt good, by the way. Yeah, that felt good. I remember having that conversation with the CEO and like, okay, we're going to increase your salary. Like, I think he almost doubled my salary, like just like that.
Wow.
That
So I'm
feeling
like,
of being
okay,
wanted, man.
Yeah.
yeah. So I remember I'm like, okay. I went back home and then worked for like a week. I'm like, this thing is not really on me. I think my time is up here, But I took that first month salary and went back and I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to stay. And it's like, okay, we'll give you more equity. Because at this time, I already have like stocks in the company. Next to the founders, like, significant, so it's like, oh, we give you
That's
more.
interesting. You went for looking for a job actively, sending emails saying, "Yo, hire me," to like
becoming a
them
shareholder,
asking,
right?
man, that is so inspiring. I
Yeah,
love
so
it.
impressive.
So he offered more money, he offered more equity. And then this is the juicy part. He's like, so when I came back the third time, like, no, I have to go. And I need you to bless it because that's important to me. Right? Because I could just resign and send an email and just go or something. But I'm like, I need you to bless my living. And then he's like, okay, let's do it this way. Stay on the payroll, and do whatever you want. I'm like,
I feel like maybe he thought he's like, you were just very, very valuable to the business, to the company,
Yeah, I believe so. It was like, just stay. I'm going to keep paying you. I'm like, I want to go and start a business. I told him that I want to go and start a business. And he's like, go and do whatever you want. Just be on my payroll. Like, I just need to be able to have you. I can call you and stuff like that.
Did you stay? Did you say yes?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I couldn't do that. And that was going to offend my conscience or my values, because I feel like I'm not doing the work, but I'm getting paid for it. That was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Ethically, that didn't sit well with me. Today people will call that consulting, something like that.
Oh no!
True.
No.
You just dragged the entire KPMG force.
Oh my god! Look,
no,
guys. Anyone listening to this? I have no hands in this episode.
KPMG,
I was not
Deloitte,
here.
and the rest. They're all consulting, so.
No, not that kind of. I mean, they do the work now. They actually work. Don't they work?
They do work.
No, I'm saying like I could have tagged it as, oh, I'm consulting for these guys. That's why they're paying me. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that something is wrong with consulting.
I apologize to everyone that works at KPMG, Deloitte. Please don't drag me. Thank
you. God. But yeah, I didn't do it. No, I think I started like month. I went on another month after that conversation, and I just kept trying. Meanwhile, in this time, I had set up an agri business. I had raised some money, a few millions of naira. I had registered a company. Right, while all this, I want to leave, I'm not leaving, is going on, and I'm telling him like, hey, I started an agri business. I'm going to start exporting cashew and stuff like that. And he's saying, no, I think you should be in technology. Technology is like the future. And I'm like, yeah, my goal is to build a technology that helps exportation and importation, right, for Africa. But I want to understand like how my customers are feeling. Like, I want to understand what the issues are with like the exporters and importers. So I want to be that for a while.
There's so much to learn from what you just said, honestly. Like, people usually start from, okay, I want to build a company. I want to start this tech thing. And then they will now say, okay, what do the customers want? But you're saying you start from the grassroots and then you build from there, which is an incredible thing to do, because that's the only way to actually build a real business that will actually survive and, make money. So kudos to you.
Yeah, my thoughts were like, this is going to help me to really understand what the challenges are, and then I can provide the specific solution for that challenge. But yeah, that was what I did. I started that business. I remember I had a warehouse in Edo State, another one in Ogbomoso. So I was always like traveling, moving around, and I'm still like doing meetings, greatly stuff. It was really stressful. So one day I decided to take some time out from my travels, came back to Lagos, because I rented an apartment in Ogbomoso. I had an apartment in Ogbomoso. I had another one in Lagos. And then I used to stay with like a family when I'm in Edo State. It was very, very stressful. I remember there was a particular day when I woke up in the morning opened my laptop, was going to do some work. Then I decided to call my store manager in Edo State to say, what's the quantity of cashew that we have now in the store? And the guy said he doesn't know. The guy said he doesn't know. I'm like, oh my God, I left this guy about a week or two ago. I'd given him like 2 million naira. You don't know. I just, right there and then, closed my laptop, put my laptop in a bag. I've not had my bath. I'm off to Edo State. Right?
Wait,
I
from
show
Lagos?
up in Edo State. No, from Ogbomoso. I'm in Ogbomoso now because I have another store at Ogbomoso. I have like people working in Ogbomoso. I have people working in Edo State, right? And my store manager does not know the quantity of products that we have. There's no way I would have figured that out from here. I just pick up my laptop, hit the road, and I show up in Ogbomoso. I show up in Edo State. I'm like, hey, take me to the store, open it. Let's go. Let's figure out what is here now. I saw what we had there. I sold them immediately. And then started coming back, I think like the next day or something. Anyway, so yeah, that was a very stressful period in my life. I came back to Lagos to just take some time out to just reflect and ask myself questions. Is this really what I want to do? Is this going to get me to like where I want to go? In the moment of reflection, a friend from Facebook Accelerator, where I worked with Greatly, because Greatly was in Facebook Accelerator, remember? One of the founders there just reached out to me and says, hey, Odun, we just built this fintech product. We'd like you to test it out. It was a strategy. He wanted me to come and sell that product. So he sent it to me. I looked at the product and I was blown away. That's MyStash. What does it do? You can link your bank to it, give the app an instruction to save for you every time you earn or every time you spend. And you can do this across multiple banks. Right? So it's just, automated. Yeah. Like,
is that fintech still alive?
It's still alive. Interestingly, it's still alive.
Do you want to name drop?
It's MyStash. Just check it out. MyStash.
Wait, MyStash?
Oh,
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, that's MyStash, right?
I think it was one of the companies that was on the list of competitions for my former company, because I also was working in a fintech that did something similar.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yes, that's true.
Yeah, so that was MyStash. He sent this thing to me. I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is brilliant. And this is beautiful and all. And then I think the next day out and says, will you like to sell it? Like, I think I said an instant yes, just out of excitement. Then I'm like, oh, okay. I have all of these things going on for me. I really need to think and, make a decision. But yeah, I ended up accepting that role as growth manager. That's MyStash. Significantly cutting down my income, like significantly. Like I'm saying like more than 90%.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a dream guy. My mentor
you put the dreams before the money.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. So I cut all that. I traveled to Ogbomoso, sold all my stocks, called my investors, returned money. I remember paying back my investors like 5 million, and my investors sending the money back to me to say, take the money. it's like take the money. Yeah, I need the money to be with you. So I had to call. I remember calling him and saying, I want to go and do this fintech thing. I've done my research. The future is in technology. I need to be part of those that are building that future. Right.
Wow.
It was a huge.
That's such a clear vision to have. Like your 2020 vision is so incredible.
Thank you. I wanted to be part of those building that future. I didn't want to be left out. I wasn't going to earn a lot. It was ridiculous. Like I was literally earning nothing because these guys couldn't afford to pay me. But of course, they paid me equity, which was fine. Let's get this done. So I took that job. shut down everything else, and I acquired 10,000 users in the next 3 months.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's a flex.
No,
We recognize
I think
flexes on
5,000.
this podcast.
I think the first goal was 5,000 users, and I did that in like 3 months. And then we went 10,000 users, and I did that in the following maybe 2.5 months or something like that. And by the time I was leaving MyStash, I had helped grow the company from less than 50 users to about 30,000 users in about a year and a few months.
Wow.
We're doing well. Investors were excited. Then we eventually we got acquired, by the way. So I didn't just leave. It was the acquisition that happened. So I literally helped grow this company from like zero to like acquisition. For a few millions of dollars. It was good.
What company acquired it?
Princeps Credit Systems.
Are they doing a good job with this currently?
They're doing a very good job. The company is now profitable. I mean, MyStash.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, MyStash is now profitable. I don't know how much I can disclose, so I'd rather not. So,
yeah,
but I know
it's
the
fine.
process. A very significant amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars, on a monthly basis. They now help people saving dollars. They do some kind of treasury thing and stuff like that. But they're doing very well now. The company is profitable, self-sustaining. So, they don't need investors if they don't want to.
So when acquisitions happen like this, do they let go of every other person that was at the company, or
Yes, so like all kinds of things happen in an acquisition. In our case, right? They did let go of some people, but the valuable people that stayed, right? So we had people that the company preserved. But during the acquisition, people were let go. All kinds of things happened. Well, I mean, I benefited from the acquisition, honestly. So I made some money in that acquisition also.
Because of the stocks that you had. Okay. Makes sense.
So the dream paid off.
I just calculated how much money you made.
You can't calculate. I didn't even tell you. How much you sold the company.
No, you already said the range.
Yeah, it's
USD
millions of dollars.
And in millions, right? And don't worry, I know.
Sorry, between like $3 to $5 million. Yeah, let's just keep it there. But
that's good money.
Yeah, it was good. It was good for everyone. But the weirdest thing was like when they came to me and said, "Hey, we have this offer. These guys want to buy the company. Odun, what would you do?" To be honest, I didn't want us to sell. Weird. I don't know why. I'm like that. I still didn't want us to sell. So I'm like, honestly, I don't want us to sell. However, I'm not the founder, so you guys, because it was like the founders and me. That was how like we made decisions.
How long did you stay at? How long did you start MyStash? Yeah, before.
I was there for like was not exactly up to 2 years. No, I was there for like 2 years. Yeah, I was there for like 2 years. Yeah.
We had a conversation with Ebovi, and we're talking about stuff like when companies get acquired, and just like you said, you didn't want us to sell. You use that phrase, and sometimes I feel like people forget that most of the goals of people that build startups is actually to exit at the end of the day, to get acquired and stuff like that. But sometimes you get so attached to your startup, you're like, I built this baby from scratch and this is my child, right? And I can't just let it go, right? But
Bobby is pro exit. I know that.
Yeah. I was about to say that.
It's for exit. I know a lot of people that are not. Personally, I've not built anything to a point of acquisition yet, but I'm working on it. Emmanuel is going to drag me, but I'm working on it. But I also feel like I'm going to be pro exit as well. Like if I start building stuff like that, because how you just woke up one day and said, no, I don't have a plan per se, but I'm going to leave law school. I'm going to come back and I'm going to figure it out. I feel like for most people, it's probably like that. Like say you've been working on MyStash for years. and now you're about to sell. It's like just like when your favorite TV show ends and you don't know what to do with your free time anymore. you know.
Yeah.
So I totally get it though. I totally understand. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Let's
So
switch
that was
gears a
it.
little bit.
Sure.
So after Gradely, you did the cashew business, and after cashew business, you did MyStash. So after
Yeah.
MyStash was when you eventually started Hiyalo, right?
Yes. Yellow started
Okay. So
immediately after
before
my stash.
Okay, so before we go to Yalo, I want us to digress a bit into real estate because Yalo is somewhat a real estate company, right? So real estate in Nigeria
Yeah.
is something I think even the youngest boy or youngest girl in the most underdeveloped village or have heard about because real estate people know how to shout. They know how to say real estate this, real estate that, buy land this, buy land that. They'll tell you, oh, you're
Yeah.
missing out. And if you ask some of those people who do, mainly the sales guys, people who sell, what they call them, people
Yeah.
who market properties for companies to sell,
Agents. The
agents. Yeah. So
agents.
if you ask some of those agents, they haven't bought that land that they're telling you that you should buy
To
because
buy.
for them, they're just going to
Yeah.
get a commission, right? So real
Yeah.
estate in Nigeria is so vague that most people don't know the specifics. Like people don't know how it works. They just know that okay,
Yeah.
buy and sell, right? And of course,
Yeah.
it's more than that. So
Yeah.
my question is, what is the current state of real estate in Nigeria, like in terms of um building properties, selling properties, making things more affordable for the average person, and maybe
Yeah.
even credit, because that's what you're trying to solve.
Yeah. So first off, right, I think I should address the part where you talked about like the agents selling and they they've not even bought what they are selling. So yeah, I think it's important for me to address that because generally, like, I it's you can the I buy real estate, right? I buy real estate, and I think that that problem of agents who sell properties and not buy properties is something I have seen since when like I was young. It was something that I actually thought about as a young person. Lived when I lived with my uncle, and he had like people around him and himself who would like help people buy and sell real estate. But many of them just bought cars. Many of them bought
Mm.
like really nice cars. And I was like very young, but for some reason, I always just thought that why are you not buying real estate? Because some of them had the money.
Mm.
And then I think what I learned from that expending, like that thought process or asking those questions was that it's a mindset thing, right? Real estate
Mm.
investors are long-term investors.
Mm.
And like I mentioned in the earlier, I've always been a long term person, and I'm buying real estate. Just pretty much what I spent most of whatever it is I made from my stash, in. Of course, I invested in like startups too, but it was first real estate, right? But
Mm.
it's real. That's why it's real estate. It's probably the most real. For real, like it's probably the most real form of investments that you can do. Why? Because you can see
Mm.
it, you can touch it. It's going to be there forever and ever, right? Except when
Unless it's
maybe
an
there's a
earthquake.
scam or something. Yeah, when something happens, like, it's almost the surest form of investments once it is done right. So now back to your question of like, what is the state of real estate in Nigeria? That's a very, very wide question. So I'm trying to figure out a way to, to respond to that question. I
Maybe
think,
let's scope it down to
yeah.
rentals.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for helping me, right? Which is kind of like where we are focused on right now. First
Yeah.
off, I think that what most people think about rents, especially in Lagos, is that rent is expensive. And that is true. Right. Then again, in urban cities like Lagos and other large cities across Africa, because we still have a very huge part of Nigeria, right, that, and also some other African nations that are still very, very underdeveloped, right? It's disheartening to know that there are still places in Nigeria today where they don't have light at all. Like, they don't have the connection. There are no poles there. There are places where they don't have water. People still go to the stream. I remember maybe about 2 years ago, I went home and I decided to just go back to those villages where I used to go and sell bread. And it was still the same, maybe worse. I still saw kids trek from one village that is several miles. They would trek for like 1 hour to school in the morning. Yeah. That is happening today. I'm sure you guys have never again. Probably don't know that exists, but I have seen it, right? And I can still see it tomorrow if I want to. I just need to go there, and I know how to get there. That still happens. And so I'm saying that to just say that if you're really going to make anything, if you want to be part of like progress and civilization, you have to come to the cities, right? And so the population in cities is like consistently increasing. The price of properties is just going up. It's ridiculous, actually, because landlords can just increase it because, there is that. But there's also the fact that the cost of building is also high, right? And that's kind of like how it is in Nigeria. The cost of building is also high. Therefore, everything is usually passed on to the final consumer, who is now the renter.
Let the poor breathe.
They don't let us breathe. They don't let us breathe. No matter what.
I am so tired of my co-host, man. I'm so tired.
No, it's the truth now. Everyone is increasing prices, but I don't really do that. The first thing we go parents.
Yeah, man. Everybody's always increasing prices. I remember recent times people have brought deals to me. Real estate developers bring deals to me like almost every day, and they would say things like, "It's always very annoying." Usually, I think it's just my personality, right? And let me tell you what I mean. Like, I'm one of those guys who drive in Lagos and just wait for other people to pass, because I don't know why we all have to try to go through at the same time. It does not make any sense. Like, it's so funny that when I wait for people on the road, the people I wait for are shocked. Like, oh, okay. You actually waited. So, and I'm saying that because, like, real estate developers bring deals and say, come and buy this lease for 15 years, maybe pay 8 million or 10 million or whatever. And then when I calculate the return on investment, right, it would usually like take a long time. Like I said, real estate is a, future, long-term thinking type of investment. It's not sharp, right? So when I do the math, I'm like, it's going to take a long time for me to make my money back. But then the guy is saying that, you will increase the rent after 2 years. And then increase it every 2 years. Like, why? Why? Like, what's the rationale behind that? Fuel is expensive. Like, do you get? I'm just saying, like, what's the rationale? So it's like, there is that mindset that this is how it is. Increase the price after 2 years. I think there's a serious problem with that. And I think that the government is perhaps the only institution that can help to mitigate that. But then the problem with the government stepping into that kind of market is that the demand is high. The demand is so high that if a landlord tells you that you should come and pay 2 million for one rubbish property, and then you say you don't have the 2 million, somebody else is going to pay that 2 million right there in your presence. So that's the thing. The demand is so high that the landlords, developers and stuff, I believe that they take advantage of people, of tenants generally.
Yeah.
So I
Just
think,
take a look at what's
those
happening
are
in
some of the
Yaba at
issues.
the moment, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at what's happening in Yaba. Like, they know that these students are going to want houses, and then they put the
Yes.
most ridiculous amount of prices on these houses. Like, you
Mm.
could walk into one room and they'll tell you 600K, and you ask them,
Yeah.
so where's the rest of the room? Like, yeah, this is it. This is the room. Like, this is 600K. And then by the time you're saying, oh, I don't know if I can, one student will just enter and pack their things. I'm like, okay, I've paid 650. Please keep the change. I'm ready to move in.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Like that's how terrible, how crazy it is. I mean, it's good for business in the sense that, like, we're always, doing deals, right? Today we were at USC. We went to present to them. Trying to get the employees on Hiyalo. So we're going to like these large companies and stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that when I start talking about Hiyalo. But we closed the deal. Like, we had people who needed the service. Like, people need our service like every day, because like it's house now, they have to solve our problem. So yeah, the demand is so high. I think that maybe the government maybe do something in terms of like helping to just stop the ridiculous like regular price hikes. But that's the reality today. And then the
I
quality
was
of the
going
price
to,
most of the time also is not really great.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
actually going to ask about the government's role, and I think you already mentioned it because,
Yeah.
like, there's literally no other way. You can't tell people who are renting out to say, please reduce your price. Like, it makes there's no incentive basically to reduce your price. So the
Yeah.
government
So
stepping
I think
in,
that I think the government can actually step into, that there are ways that the government have stepped in the past. For example, it's not the land, there is the tenancy law of Lagos states, right? That says that no landlord should collect more than 1 year's rent from tenants. And that's because there was a particular time where indiscriminately landlords were charging 2-3 years. Like, you have to compulsorily pay 2-3 years rent upfront.
I still feel like some
Now that
people
has
do it till now.
disadvantage, right?
I
No,
think
they still do it.
they've even
That law
gone
never
to
worked.
monthly now.
No, we've not
Like,
done monthly
Yeah,
yet,
you
but
mean
I feel
no,
like
but the
they're moving
government
towards it.
they already put some policies as at last 2
Yeah.
years actually.
it has never worked. It has not worked. That's the government one. It has not worked because I know it's it's like a partnership.
But I feel like it's
Lagos
going
State
to
government.
really help a lot of people in Nigeria, like
Is
monthly
it?
rent. No, I mean, like, no, not the landlords. I mean the people. Because think about it.
Yeah,
If you want to rent a place, you have to rent for 1 year, right? You cannot
yeah.
just skip and say, okay, let me just stay here for a few months. Of course, there'll be things like, okay, you cannot move out within 6 months. There should be things like that. But the idea that you must pay 1 year, regardless of how long you want to live in the place, and you
It's
have to
really
pay the
tough for
money
people.
upfront, it is expensive.
Yeah,
Sure.
it is expensive. It's really tough for most people. Chuka doesn't have a problem with it. Chuka is a big boy. It's like his pocket.
No, I don't.
Chika has
let the poor
stories.
breathe.
Chika has his stories.
So it's like,
I understand. I totally understand. I understand.
yeah, it is expensive and it's tough for people. Like, this is what we do as Hiyalo. And in the last 6 months, we've had over 300 applications, and we're growing like every day. Today, we're getting an average of, now we're now starting to get somewhere between 5 to 10 applications daily. We've not done marketing.
Wow.
Actually, just so you know, since we started this company, we've not spent a dime on marketing. We have
Okay, so before we keep talking about it, I think we should formally introduce Hiyalo so that they'll get the context of what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly. By the way, this is the CEO and co-founder of Hiyalo on the show right now, and that's another huge flex. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We're looking forward to see more founders here, by the way.
I don't know how many times I have told our sales manager to stop introducing me as the CEO. I don't know why, but when I think about it, like, it doesn't make sense because I'm actually the CEO, right? But I always tell you, please stop it. Just say I'm your colleague. When one calls. But yeah, yes, Hiyalo is a prop tech company. In the last 6 months, I would sell Hiyalo to investors as a prop tech company that is building solutions in the real estate market. And the reason for that is we're still very early stage, and we're really trying to figure out where we really want to be and who we really are. But the big vision is that we are in this industry to solve critical problems. So initially, the problem we identified at Hiyalo was mortgage solution, and that came as a result of the fact that I was doing some research. I was still at MyStash doing some research for MyStash. Stumbled on this video where the CEO of Infinity Trust Mortgage Bank was speaking about mortgages, and then he was saying that young Nigerians that are earning as little as 200K can get a mortgage from them.
Did he just say as little as 200K?
Yes, the video is on YouTube.
Okay. As little.
So I was,
please, Odun, remember that our minimum wage is never mind. Keep going.
Yes. Oh my God, I didn't get that.
As little as 200K. That's fine. That's fine. That's
much
fine.
As 200K.
200K.
As much as 200. Let me let the poor breathe. As much as 200 could get the mortgage from them. And I was lucky at the time. I was earning above that. And so I said, let me do this, right? Let me do a mortgage. I'm always looking. Like I said, I'm a long-term guy, heavy on delayed gratification. And so I said, let me do this, right? And then I decided to apply. That's where the problem is. How do I apply? There's really no way to apply. The instructions I saw on the website were bring this document and that document and this document and that document. I'm not going to do that. I don't have that time. I'm so busy.
You're already stressing me out.
Traveling around the country, going, I'm traveling around the country trying to build the company here, telling me to come and give you this, give me that. Is there no way to automate this thing? Then I went on LinkedIn, reached out to a staff of the company, and said, I want to take a mortgage. She was very excited. She just sent me the long list again. Bring this document, bring that, bring this. I'm like, is there no way we can do this? Can I send it to you via email or something? And she was like, no, I actually have to come. They need to verify this. I'm like, I'm going to build this thing. That was my response. That was the results. Let me see if I can build a software. Yeah. Let me see if I can build a software that can solve this problem, automate this process, I don't know, get some APIs, get the person's credit score, tell them to upload the documents, something like that. It's simple. It just, at that time I was this is my third year or so in tech. So I could tell we can build this thing. And so that was what I said. That was possible for me. Yeah, that was possible. That was the point I thought it was possible. And I remember I was in my office. I was in an office in Lekki. The office was given to me in his office complex. So I just walked into his own office and I said, "Sir, what do you think about this idea?" And he's like, "That's brilliant. How much do you need?"
Wow.
I'm like, I don't know. I've never done any research. I'm like, yeah, just give me a range. I'm like, maybe $1 million. And he's like, okay, done. We'll do it.
What? Wait, you got $1 million on the spot?
But I haven't got to the dime of that $1 million.
No. Did you get the $1 million funding on the spot, or you've not gotten profits from that $1 million?
I've not gotten any. Nothing from that million. I didn't get money from that person to date.
Oh my dear.
Yeah, and by the way, every other person who promised me money in the very early days, I didn't get money from them. I had to now go out and look for the money. It was crazy.
That should probably be an entire episode on its own.
Yeah, that's
it's like I
we should do an episode about VCs and funding.
Yeah.
I probably would not have built Hiyalo at all if I didn't get those promises. Right?
Oh,
do you understand? It's
so
like
those
it's
promises gave you the ginger to even go ahead.
The confidence is like, yeah, go and do it. I got the engineer. Like we started building. I'm engaging these guys, right? One of them is my mentor. He's like a very big guy in the sports betting industry. He's got like a number of sports betting companies. He introduced me to
the one.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's only one guy like that.
Then,
all right, you won't name drop anyone.
He introduced me to a friend of his who was a former managing director of a major bank in Nigeria. So these are like powerful guys. In this meeting, this guy was telling me, "Oh, I've called the CEO of like EcoBank. I think he actually made that call. Yeah, he actually made that call. He's like, and I haven't gotten a dime till date. But those
I feel like every time you say you haven't gotten anything from it, it's just
he says it with resentment. Like, I hope you guys listen to this podcast. I need you guys to know. I need you guys to know that I remember.
This is how it sounds. This is how it sounds. No, this is how it sounds. It's like, okay, so we had this conversation. They promised $1 million and I didn't get it. it's like it goes really high and then boom, disappointment.
No,
so, yeah.
So let me tell you, I think like the reason why I would stress something like that is not an issue of resentment. And I was still in this person's office yesterday, where I'm guessing like other like benefits. And that's important because you have to manage a relationship well.
Yeah, relationships are important for sure. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So just yesterday, I'm still getting an introduction from the same person to Zenith Bank, but I have proven myself over the last like 6-7 months that I could do this.
You can do this. Yeah.
I could do this. I built the company up to this point, raised a few $1,000s. We have customers now, like paying customers every month. We have a banking partner that's financing the customers. We are already engaging VCs, and things like that. So we made a lot of progress. Like maybe when we get to the details, I'll tell you some of very interesting things that we've done. And now I'm in his office. He's like so proud of me and he's like super excited. It's like, you actually did this thing. Like he just talked about it in my office. And now he's more excited to connect me with like more opportunities, because why not, right? So I just wanted to clarify that there's no resentment.
No, it's fine.
I think I'll stop here for you to ask another question.
Yeah, okay.
Or like help to direct the conversation.
Yeah, yes, for sure. I'm actually curious how you got the name Hiyalo, because startup names, cool. You can somehow find what the startup does from the name, but like Hiyalo, I don't know. Is that English? Yeah. Is that French? Is that
Okay, so now you had told me to introduce Hiyalo, and I was trying to talk about how Hiyalo started, right? And then trying to like talk about what Hiyalo does. So today what we do is rent finance. We provide rent finance. We've also recently launched we launched this after the last time we chatted, actually. We recently launched the first ever smart search, property smart search solution. And I'll tell you what I mean. So today, if you want to rent an apartment, you go to Property Center, Property Pro, and then you reach out to an agent, right? What we have done is to just flip that script. We have built a system that allows agents to reach out to you.
Okay.
And several of them at that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is this necessary? Why do agents need to reach out to you instead?
Good question, right? So remember what I did when I wanted to build this export thing, right? I went to be the customer, right?
Yeah.
That was exactly what I did with Hiyalo. An interesting thing is that when I'm doing these things, I guess I wasn't specifically thinking about, this is the principle that you used to be the best business, go and be the customer. That's just my instinct to if I'm trying to solve a problem for the person, empathy is a major value, and it's one of our values at Hiyalo, right? Empathy. So if you are a customer experience person, when you're talking to the customer, you are trying to embody the customer's challenge, right? Understand, that helps you to like really understand, what the customer is going through or whoever the stakeholder is, right? And the way I practiced that, or I showed that to my team members at Hiyalo, was that when we started Hiyalo, I was going out, I became an agent, literally, right? The moment we started onboarding agents, I became an agent. So when we get requests from customers, I will go out, I'll order a ride, pick the customer, pick the agent, which was also very interesting to the customers because that typically doesn't happen, right? So we would drive down to go pick the customer wherever they are, then would drive to the agent, pick the agent wherever they are, and I would follow them on the journey, right? And so what that enabled me to do was that enabled me to really interact with the agents. I was interacting with a lot of agents. I was asking questions. Why is this like this? What don't you like? What do you want? This and that. And I figured very quickly that agents really don't like uploading properties on the websites. They prefer not to upload properties on the websites, right? It's just one of the options where they get customers, but they actually get more customers offline. They get more customers on WhatsApp than on those property listing sites. Because most of the time, many of those properties that are listed up there, they are gone. Right? So they are just there as a bait for the agents to now go and show you what is available. I mean, not in all cases. That's not in all cases, right? But there are many times when those properties are gone, they are taken already.
That makes a lot of sense.
When you contact the agents, but when you check it out now, ask people around. Most of the time, the house you want is not what you will get. The agents will take you to other houses. Exactly. So we figured that out very quickly, and we said, we're not going to build a marketplace, right? Because I was very keen on what's going to be our differentiating factor. What's going to differentiate us? So I'm like, no, we're not building a marketplace.
USP.
Let's build a system. Yeah. Let's build a system that connects the users to the agent without the marketplace. Let's see how that works, right? Because at the end of the day, what the user is seeing on the marketplace is usually not what they're going to get. So what if we just eradicate that and then make agents make the agent more comfortable and relieve the hard work of having to post a property that would be gone in 24 to 48 hours, and then the property is just there on the website deceiving the user, right? So that was, I thought about all of that, and so that then we started building out. We started building out a mobile app. We made some progress in the mobile app. Then we got in the very senior engineer, and then did some re-strategizing, and then decided to build a WhatsApp bot instead, right? And I'll tell you a quick story about that transition from building a mobile app to WhatsApp bot and the thinking behind it. Primarily, maybe someone could learn something from it, right? We wanted to build a mobile app primarily because we wanted to build a system that allowed the agents to get instant notifications whenever a user requests for a property. Remember, no more marketplace. So the user is not seeing any pictures. The user is just coming to say, I want a 2-bedroom flat in Yaba. My budget is 2 million. I want it to have swimming pool. I guess swimming pools in Yaba. I don't know. but I want this, I want that. And we were going to guide the user through that process, right? And the moment the user hits send, we want agents that have properties in that location to get an instant notification and then start to reach out to the customers. You see the reverse.
That is actually brilliant.
Yeah,
that is actually brilliant.
So that was exactly what we were going to do. So we now started. We had designed a mobile app, and then we were already actually building. Then we got a senior engineer who, interestingly, is an investor. Decided to volunteer and work with us because he really likes the idea. It's like I have investors, team members who are just so passionate about about what we're doing. It's like they're just so in love with what we're doing. It's crazy. It's like I had an investor who is saying, I want to work with you. And this investor would join our calls every day and execute. You get, he was literally an employee, but he was just so excited and passionate about what we're doing and wanted to be a part of, like, executing it and not just putting his money there, So the thought process now became, what exactly, we had a strategy session where, like, what exactly are you trying to solve? Like, we want to give the agents instant notifications. Okay. Where do they get notifications instantly today? The answer is yes. How do they get it? WhatsApp. Can we continue to send them that notification on WhatsApp so that you don't change their behavior?
Yeah, so you don't have them have to install an app, right?
Download an app. Then when they get a notification on that app, they're opening that app. And then when they open that app, they will still open WhatsApp because other, deals will still come on WhatsApp. So that's going to be stressful. It will be more difficult to migrate them to a mobile app. And so we decided to build a WhatsApp bot instead. So we built a WhatsApp bot, launched it, and we had 300 conversations in 24 hours. Zero marketing. Yeah.
Wow.
Zero marketing. Like, let me tell you what we did. We launched it, and then we just said, everybody on the team, this is a team of 6. Everybody on the team puts it on your status. And then tell 2 people your contacts to put it on their status. That was it. We shut it down. The next day, we came for our 9 a.m. setup call, and we were like, oh my God, 300 conversations in 24 hours. I think we're up to something. Maybe that was like the second or the third light bulb moment for us. But that's what we do at Hiyalo, connect people to agents. Of course, we've improved it over time. We call that product Xperi, by the way. We call it Xperi by Hiyalo. Xperi is a Latin word for experience. It's another country's word for experience. So, something like that.
So where's Hiyalo from?
I think it's the root word of the word experience. Yeah, okay. Hiyalo is a Yoruba word. Hiyalo.
Okay. Hiyalo.
To borrow.
Borrow to
nice.
use.
But where's the age coming from?
You didn't even know that. He has to add some spice to it now. He has to add some spice to it.
So the H,
So Odun,
I was going to respond to his question about the H.
Okay, the H. Go ahead.
Yeah, the H is just, I was searching. I wanted a .com because I really believe that we're going to sell to the European market. I genuinely believe it. We're going to sell to the European market and the American market. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to sell to them, but I wanted something that is .com that gives me the opportunity to really go as big as I possibly can. And so Hiyalo.com is not available. That's the IY. So I just put the H and it was available. I'm like, okay, that's it. Hiyalo.com.
Did you try and buy it from the person that made it unavailable?
Yeah, I did. I actually did. I did. It was, I think, about £400,000.
What?
Yeah, it was like £400,000.
Who is the person, please?
Okay, yeah. I don't know, but they reached out to me. GoDaddy will tell you to contact an agent or something like that.
Yeah, there's a name they call them. I can't remember the name. Okay.
Resellers. Is it domain resellers?
Something like that. I reached out to the agent. The agent responded with an email, and then they gave me an invoice, £400,000. Like, okay.
Nah, man. Nah, thank you. We'll put it. We'll give it an H. After all, people named Oluwa something. They put Oluwa. They'll put the H there. So
exactly.
I'm very curious.
You have a question,
right?
Chika?
Yeah, I do. So I remember you mentioned like the whole idea for starting Hiyalo was that you saw how how long the mortgage process was, but it feels like you eventually pivoted, right, to what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So can you tell me the reason for that exactly?
Yeah. So I have, I consider myself at the time when we're starting the company, I didn't really have real estate experience. I mean, I had worked with my uncle at 17 years old or something like that as this personal assistant. But what I really did was, I managed the documents. I would I don't know, clean his car, sit down with him when he's going out. And whenever he's going for those meetings, I never used to sit in. I would be in the car. So in reality, I didn't really have real estate experience, but I had the exposure to it. I followed once in a while for physical inspections, right? I knew about certain documents like a power of attorney, right?
Okay.
I knew about power of attorney. I knew about CFO. I knew all the, I knew some things, but I can't say that I have real estate experience. And even if I didn't know anything about mortgage at least, right? So I started doing the research and I started seeing how complex that market was. It was almost like a fight or flight moment for me. It's like, well, this thing is really complex. So I have a very good job. I was getting well paid. I had equity in the company I was working at. I mean, MyStash, right? I had equity. Like, we're doing well. The company was growing. And now I even have a team. So it's like things were like good. I really didn't need to do this. When I started researching the mortgage market, I realized that it was quite complex. It wasn't very straightforward. I needed the stakeholders I need the property developers, I need the banks, or either I become a bank and then go and get a license, which is like super expensive, or I build like an interface that allows the bank to, rely on us, and then we pretty much just do the marketing and then also automate the collection process. Something like a Mercury, for mortgage. That was what I thought about. But I realized that this thing is complex. I'm going to need more. I'm going to need it more a super experienced person in mortgage and things like that. And so I asked myself a very simple question. And the question is, this is a complex, I'd written out a bunch of documents. I'm like, this is a very complex project. This has always been my way, right? What's the simplest, easiest, fastest way for me to start today? I'm a start guy, right? I'm not I don't like to plan all details.
I'm trying to be a start
I'm
guy.
a doing guy.
I'm a plan guy, and it's affecting my life. It's affecting my life, Odun. I'm trying to be a start guy. Someone should help me, man.
just start. Just start. Just wake up tomorrow and start somewhere. And the way to do it as a thinking, because it's not as if I don't plan too, but I don't spend a lot of time doing it. I don't plan out the entire details. What I plan is I'm trying to find out the entry. The only plan I'm creating is what's the entry point finish. What's the quickest, fastest, easiest, simplest entry point into the market. Because at the end of the day, I'm building a solution for an industry. I'm just trying to find a niche, right? So if I look at the entire industry, I'm asking myself, where is the entry point into this industry that is simple to understand, easy to communicate, right? And I can start now. And that for me was rent. I had looked at the industry, I looked at development, I looked at rent, I looked at mortgage, I looked at the entire industry, building and everything. And I said, rent is very simple. You just have a landlord who has his house. The agent shows the house to the tenant pays, and it's done. But mortgage is a long-term thing. Mortgage requires 10, 20 years of repayment, amortization, and all these complex terms and stuff like that. So I just said rent was the simplest way to get into the market. I'm going to start in rent, and then I'm going to grow into mortgage, right? Or maybe figure stuff out along the line in the market. So yeah, that's how we pivoted. It wasn't really a data thing. It was more of this is complex. How do I easily get into the market?
Man,
that's how that pivot happened.
That's nice.
But yeah, we also
makes
pivoted
so much
a little bit more after that. Thank you.
Okay, do you want to share how you've pivoted more?
Pivoted. So when we started when we said we're going to do rent, we now also went down to say where in rent. How do we want to attack the rent market? And I think the very first thing we thought about was rent small, monthly rent, basically. We thought monthly rent was a good way to start. And so the way we wanted to do it, looked at the industry and we're like, agents are nuisance, they will show you properties that you don't have and all
True.
that. And so we said, let's eradicate the agents and deal directly with landlords. Then landlords don't want to collect monthly rents, right? Because their thinking is that the money is going to lose value. Just give it to me now upfront and stuff like that. So that was also an issue that we faced. Acquiring landlords was a major challenge for us, and so when we thought through our future, we started to realize that we might struggle to scale, right? And that statement that Wole made actually kind of stayed. In fact, that Wole is like, this industry is slow. Stay. And what that did to me, and you can see that I'm still remembering it now. What that did to me was it started to make me think about how to prove him wrong. And it wasn't a personal thing. It was like, what can we do differently to ensure that the industry is not slow? Can we do something differently? So it wasn't like, I'm trying to prove him wrong. It's like, now I have this data or this perception. I have to figure out a way to make sure that that's not the case. And so I realized very quickly that if I'm trying to onboard landlords one after the other, it might take, we might struggle to scale. I also looked at competitors like Rent Small, like Spleet. I looked at how long they've been in the market. I looked at how many landlords they have onboarded. Like, I don't want to be this right now. It's going to take a long time, truly. And so we decided to pivot into actually leveraging the agents, right? Because the agents was very clear to us that the agents had more access. The agents, and if you look at
you guys kind of needed
competition
them
today, Spleet that was pushing agents away, they are now working with agents. They are back. Yes.
Crazy.
Spleet. You guys know Spleet now. Spleet, that's
I think Emmanuel was the first person that told me about
market.
Spleet. Yeah.
Yes, Spleet today. Recently, they did an event where they brought in the agents. In fact, they gave them generators, gave them TV. So we didn't need to blow millions of dollars. I don't need to blow thousands of dollars.
The market is king.
I just
entered. That's why I say,
I think one thing that really impresses me about you is that even though you say you are a just start guy, right? You also do take your time to think about a lot of things, right? Because, sometimes with all that energy, with all the drive, all the motivation, and you're just like, no, let's just, but sometimes I feel like, from all the stories we've heard so far today, you're just like, why won't this work? Why won't this scale? Why would this cause problems in the future? Right?
I do that.
And that is very impressive. And now I can see why Greatly didn't want to let you go. I see it now. And I'm just like, I totally understand, right? Because you must have been doing something at the company, right? That they were like, we're not sure we can get this anywhere else. You must have been doing something particular at the company that, the CEOs and the founders really felt like, this particular thing is keeping us afloat. Did you get? So
I think that thing is like testing stuff fast. So yes, I think, right? Yeah. But I test everything. I test almost everything. So I just always find the cheapest, fastest way. The way to just test it out without money. I know another thing I used to do at Greatly was I was the guy that negotiated most of the deals that was going to cost us money. Like the CEO will literally call me and say, go and negotiate the deal, because I almost always get the cheapest deal. Something like that. So I always look for the cheapest ways to try everything. So if I have an idea, I'm a doer. Look at all of the things I tried to sell when I was in uni, right? It's like, it comes to my head, I just test it as quickly as possible. I don't do that anymore that way, because now if I get an idea that is not
there's more risk involved,
I'm not testing. Not necessarily. I think I've just learned over time to understand the power of focus. I've just learned that focus is like super important. Recently, recently I went. I think it was my dad. Like my dad bought like a lot of like palm oil because he's retiring. He's a civil servant. He's retiring. He's like, oh, he wants to sell palm oil. So he bought like a lot of palm oil, and then I happened to go shopping just about the time, and he was at my house. So I went shopping and I bought palm oil from the supermarket. So it's like I think I bought like a 4 liter, something like that, and then I got home and then he saw it. Like, oh, palm oil. Like, oh, he has like maybe 100 and something liters or something in his house that he's just storing it there and he wants to sell. So I'm like, okay, how much did you buy 25 liters? He told me the price. I did the math. I compared it to the price that I bought my own from the supermarket, and it was like 70% margin.
Which one was higher? Yours was higher.
I had to pause so that you can see him. Yes, like that's how much profit was made from converting what he bought. Yes, from converting what he bought at 25 liters and taking 4 liters out of that. I did the maths. It was like 70% margin. Of course, there's the packaging, packaging and all of that must have been involved, right? Maybe at the end of the day, you'll still be going on with like 40 or 50% margin, But still, it was good. Like, it was good money. I was like, oh my God. But I killed it right there because, like, the normal me is I just because the oil is there. I'm not buying anything. I'm not investing anything. It's my father. I'll just say, Daddy, I have distribution channels for this thing. And I do have distribution channels, right? But that my mentor I told you about also has a chain of supermarkets in Lagos, right? I can easily put it on the shelf in the supermarket.
So did you go ahead to sell the palm oil? We're like, no palm oil business. Leave my head.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I killed it. I killed the idea. I killed the thoughts. Because we need to stay focused. Right?
You need to stay focused, man. So that's very important.
Now I know to be disciplined, to stay focused, right? But
So I want to ask what the plan for the next couple of years is. Look, I know you're scaling, right? But like, do you have any closer plans basically that you can talk to people about that? Oh, look, Hiyalo, in a couple of years we should be doing this and this and this,
Yeah, so it's interesting. We've evolved and grown so fast that it blows my mind myself. Like when I think about it, I'm like, I quit my job December last year. We built out our own loan management platform that collects applications from users, verify those users. We have closed the banking partner that provides funds for that transaction. We have about 15 monthly active users now. And of course, monthly active paying users now. Then we have launched Xperi, which is the bot that connects users to agents in less than 60 seconds. Now we're already testing out, building out a community management platform for real estate developers and landlords. I'm super excited about it. Like, that's like what's in my head right now. I feel like I have like a very good team that is managing these other two products. I'm like, let's go experiment with this, right? That's the kind of like spontaneity I can do now. That's the kind of experiment I can do now. It can't be outside of real estate. It can't be outside of chicken. It has to be here. And I'm very excited about it because we have, and again, back to Chuka, right? So yes, I'm a starter. I'm jumping. But yesterday I had a meeting with a landlord that has about 22 tenants across 2 different properties.
Wow.
Right?
In Lagos.
I had another, in Lagos, wow. Yes. I had 2 meetings yesterday, one with a landlord that has like multiple tenants. I had another guy who has like several apartments. His mom has maybe about 20 houses, across Lagos. And the purpose of that meeting is to learn what their problem and we're going to do that for the entire week, right? So we got an idea last week Wednesday. So this is how I get these things done, right? So I got an idea like last week Wednesday, Thursday. I start to do research, active research. I'm not just going to Google, which is what most people call research. I don't understand. Like I see you, like all your research is on Google.
Yeah.
Do you get like no? Now
And then
your
they throw
research
numbers
is with the
around.
customer,
58% of people are.
Yeah. Like no, like I went to the customers. Like I have my customers already. I had 2 meetings yesterday with landlords, and I'm asking questions. What do you need technology for? They were so excited. There was a particular lady who has been trying to solve the problem for 1.5 years. She has a property in Lekki Phase 1, and another one around VI. And she's like, I've been trying to solve this thing for 5 years. She gave me all the softwares that she has tried to use and how they have frustrated her.
Oh,
And
wow.
they are not built for her market. Yeah, because most of the community management platforms that exist today are built for enterprise markets. They are not built for individual landlords that have multiple properties. They are built for companies that have different branches or estates that have like several houses within that estate. And that makes sense when you think about a businessman who is trying to, do business and make money. But when you're a visionary who is really trying to solve a problem and change an industry, you want to think beyond that and really focus on like what is the pain point, what's the problem that people are facing, and who are the people experiencing that problem. And that's exactly what we're doing. That's what I'm doing this entire week. I'm going to landlords that have multiple properties. I'm going to landlords that have multiple apartments in a single building. You find that a lot in Yaba and several other parts of Lagos. Yeah, so these apartment buildings that have like different, like 2-bedroom flats, maybe 6 blocks of flats. Is there a way that a community, an app, can help them interact? And it's interesting that I used to live in Yaba, where I had the guy beside me worked at one of the biggest tech companies, a billion-dollar tech company. The guy that lives under my apartment works in a very big tech company. I should know that this guy is a big boy. He drives Benz. He never leaves his house. He's always inside. He's always coding. I didn't know who the guy was.
I'm not driving Benz. I don't even have Civic Honda.
My housemate, my flatmate was a software engineer at Microsoft. There's another guy who is like, what if I knew, and by the time I knew that this guy works at, of course, the name of the company is not Best Buy. It's a technology company. Spotify, no, not Spotify. It's an e-commerce company. I know that I call it Shopify. Yes, the guy works at Shopify. The senior engineer at Shopify. It would have been nice to just connect to this guy. You don't even know who you're living with. What if there's an app that can enable that connection, not just between tenants, but between tenants and landlord, where you can easily call the attention of the landlord to like a problem that you're facing in the apartment, or even call an artisan, or even pay your rent from there, and stuff like that. So that's like, that's like what we're experimenting with right now. The community management app for landlords and stuff. So, but yeah, in the nearest future, we I don't know, but I'm very sure that I'm going to continue to solve problems in the real estate business or industry.
Cool. So we've explored so much about your story. I feel like this entire episode has been like a story of Odun, and it has been really, really inspiring personally for me, because I'm always like thinking, am I going to end up doing entrepreneurship? So I've set up myself for a possibility of that, because I watch a lot of Founders Connect videos. I watch a lot of videos of people talking about their startup experience. So this for me is really inspiring. How intentional you are with your steps. You don't just go like, oh, this guy has a problem, let me solve it. You think, do your research and stuff. So that's really inspiring. I have one question for you, or more like something for you to tell our audience.
Yeah.
What advice would you give your younger self um, from when you started going seriously with business, and for the times when you were confused about what to do next? What
Yeah.
advice would you give to that guy?
Yeah, especially for the younger self, and also for the Odun that left law school and went home with, I don't know, maybe you had 150 naira in your pocket. I'm not sure. He didn't tell us how much. Most aspire to aspire guys, they always tell us how much they had in their bank account. I had just 800 naira in my bank account when I decided to quit and leave my job and go home. So, like, what advice would you give that person? For people that do not have a plan per se, and they're just living and just hoping that, look, I'm going to figure it out.
So, since you're talking about bank accounts, I think I had 100,000 naira in my bank account
No,
when I started
you don't
Hiyalo.
count. Okay, Hiyalo. Okay, so Hiyalo is different. Hiyalo is different.
Dude, you say I don't count. I went to start a company with that.
The 100
But
gets pretty
anyway,
bad.
okay, but yeah, but I think the advice I'll give to my younger self is like, be patient with yourself. Like, everything is possible. And I'm saying this because my younger self is a dreamer, right? And I know that there are people in this world who don't necessarily dream or care about dreaming, right? So I'm speaking to my younger self, who is a dreamer, who is like restless and just really looking for opportunities to explore all of these ideas in his head and trying to, figure out why they're there and all the questions in his head and in his mind. My advice to that guy is to just relax. It is possible. Just be patient. Everything takes time.
Everything takes time. Relax.
That's everything takes time. Just relax. Like, cut yourself some slack. And in fact, today I still do that, right? I still give myself that advice today. Relax, cut yourself some slack, take some time out, chill. Everything is going to come together. Because I did not think that we're going to be here in 6 months. I don't think that we're going to have product number 3 in 6 months. I didn't think that we're going to have raised the amount of money we've raised in 6 months.
So are you sure you followed the advice? Because product 3 in 6 months.
Man,
so people spend
that does not sound like someone that
is
relaxing, Does not sound like someone that is relaxing. that person is not matching broke at all.
Oh my God. I have a friend who we had this conversation together, and she's a lady, and she's like, everybody tells her to, like, that she doesn't even know what she's doing with her life. Like, everybody said that she works so hard. This lady works so hard. She's my friend. She's like, 20s, she has a book, she has a charity where she's taking care of children. She's a lawyer. She works at like one of the top law firms in Lagos. She recently got admission into Oxford. She's like, and then we're having this conversation. I was having a conversation with her one day, and she's telling me that she doesn't even know, like, everybody's telling her to, like, chill. But it's like every time she looks at the people she wants to be like, that they didn't chill. But now that they are older, they're telling her to, like, chill. Like, I don't even know what to do. It's like, why are they saying chill? But you guys didn't chill when you were young. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I think it's important to remind yourself to chill. I think it's important to actually tell yourself to chill, because.
But I think chill needs to be defined. There's a difference between, okay, I take a weekend off, I don't work too much, and chill. Don't chase your dream.
Don't do anything. No. Chill is not don't chase your dream. It's like, chase your dream with patience, understanding that it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Like, this is
effort.
That this is going to come.
It's really not. It's not all about you. Yes, it's not all about you and all about what you do. is really, I think it's more about how you think and what's in your mind, honestly. Like, it's not, I know for a fact that it's not just my efforts that has gotten us to where we are now. It's also about me putting out, like, my thoughts into the environment. It's also about me sharing my thoughts with other people and getting people to support me and, volunteer. So it's not like me just doing the work and like trying to work. No, it's like, our WhatsApp bot idea was not my idea, but I succeeded. It's the CTO's idea. There's so many things that wasn't my idea. In fact, I remember that when we started closing companies, because now we have like companies that are paying for their employees and stuff like that. When we started that thing, the sales manager wanted to do email marketing. And I'm very traditional. So I'm like, go and meet these people, call them and close the deal. Because like, I actually really like speed, right? I'm like, email is going to be slow and everything. So the guy did not tell me. He kept doing his email on the background and he was doing like what I also wanted him to do. But it turns out that the email was succeeding. Today, I went to present to UAC Foods. Yeah, the email was more effective. We went to present to UAC Foods today and we closed them. It was the email thing. That was his idea. Right? So it's not just about me. It's like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
That's what chill is in this context. It's like, relax. It's not about you, right? It's about the dream. And you need to trust that dream is not going to come to pass because of you. It's going to be because we all want to make it happen.
Yeah, a collective effort.
Let everybody else take their part.
I'll sum it up in one phrase from an NBA player. It's trust the process.
100%.
Trust the process.
100%.
Yeah. So we've come to the tail end. We've come to the tail end of this episode. This is going to be our longest episode. I don't think there's any episode longer than this. But I'm excited. I'm excited because every inch of this episode has a lot for anybody to learn. And it's been amazing hearing your story. And, like the fact that you actually, even in this episode, I could see you thinking about what you're going to say, trying to be precise about how you presented it. And, that's really valuable. So we've come to the end of the episode. And at this juncture, we usually ask a question to everyone, all our guests that we bring to the show. And the question is this: what would you be doing if you're not in tech? For you, I think the answer is quite clear. You'd probably be selling the next big thing, or doing export and import business. But okay, aside from all the things you've done before, is there anything else that you would be doing if you're not in tech?
Aside from everything else I have said before, it would be inspiring people to succeed, to be the best that they can be.
Okay, we'll take it. That's the first.
And I think you've already. I think you've already achieved that, even on this 2-hour episode.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
I mean, I did a little bit of that as an undergraduate. Yeah.
Okay. During the tutoring part.
Yeah, I was a fellowship president. In my final year.
You gave me that vibe.
Yeah,
you gave me that vibe.
I preached the Bible, like.
you gave me that vibe.
And I still do that today.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Remember, we release new episodes every other Wednesday, and you can subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. If you would love to connect with us, you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at insidethetechos, or subscribe to our newsletter and shoot us an email at insidethetechosystem@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners. You can follow the host on Twitter as well, Chuka at Siwadiogu and Emmanuel at Olaoluwa_98. All right, see you in the next one.